Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. We're going to go over some Epson S-Series solvent printers and more importantly, the media options that are available that we sell, and kind of gives you an idea of all the different types of very diverse area that this printer can do, and a lot of different choices out there that for lots of applications. So we're going to go over all the types there and brands and what they're good for, and hopefully kind of give you an idea just the, like I said, the diversity of this printer and the solvent world, where it's more than just signage. I mean, there's photo canvas, there's a lot of different things that can be done on this printer, and at very cost efficient levels. So and then there's bundles like with cutters and laminators, and they can work in unison to get jobs done, especially with nowadays with COVID. There's a lot of need out there for graphics in various spots. So we're going to go over all that stuff and definitely ask questions at the end, and anything we can help you out on. That's what we're here for. So I'll let Zach take it from here.
Excellent. Thanks, Matt. So as Matt said, yeah, we're going to talk about the kind of, I call it the exciting side of the media stuff here. So as Matt was saying, there is a ton. I mean, that's an understatement. There's a ton of options out there. So we really want to focus on, some of the more popular offerings. Of course, if there's ever something that you're considering, we always love to kind of talk to the customer there and see, hey, maybe that's something, if we need to try it in-house first, we can do that. Or if there's something that you're curious if it can or cannot run through the machine, just let us know and we can help with that. But today, what I really want to focus on, kind of in contrast to last week's webinar, which was really focused on the hardware side, we're going to focus on what you can actually put through these machines. So, if you did have any questions on some of like the printhead technology, the maintenance and things of that nature, then I would recommend actually probably, we can call in for something like that. But I do really quickly, and I'm sorry guys, I do want to introduce Keith Prado here today as well, who is an Epson technological guru and master of everything inkjet. So Keith, if you want to go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself a little bit.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Keith. I cover the Southeast Territory of the United States, including Texas, Florida, all that kind of fun stuff down through there. Just hanging out with these guys here. They invited me to come and chat with you guys. So if you guys have questions, I'm going to let these guys run through. But during the question and answers, I am here for picking of the brain. So welcome.
Heck yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, Keith. And guys, yeah, Keith is an awesome resource. So, if you have any questions or if there's ever something I can't answer, he's my man to go to. So definitely hit us up with any questions there. But let's kind of jump into it. First and foremost, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but for those of you who might be coming from an aqueous background or maybe some other, maybe a sublimation, kind of why solvent and what it really is going to be beneficial for here. Number one is it's going to have that wear-resistant bond. So that means you're going to have that increased longevity, even without lamination. And we will talk about lamination today a bit to kind of make that, take it a step further for that 5 to 7 year plus. But for the most part, this is going to be an extremely durable printing medium. The transfer, the actual media will transfer onto, will be able to accept that media. We have a little bit of an off gas to deal with there, not a problem though, because Epson really leads the pack here when it comes to the 8-hour off gas. So within under 24 hours, we can have a full turnaround project, which has been laminated and gone through the works there. We're going to talk about a little bit of some of the different adhesives out there, some of the vinyl options. And of course, it is Epson, so I have to at least mention a little bit on the GS3 ink set, which is fantastic, all the way from their entry level CMYK S4600 to the 98 point, I think it's 98.2 or 6% Pantone match on their flagship S80. So again, I know this is what we talked about last week, so this is really just a recap of the different options that are out there. Here you can see the bulk system, probably my personal favorite, especially in the S series, the bulk S8600. So, this one we have the metallic silver we can throw in there. We have a white cartridge we can put in there if we want to. We can hit those Pantone colors. So really just an incredibly high-end and fantastic unit. And as Matt said too, there's some print and cut options out there. Graphtec now has bundled their FC9000 with it. New barcode reader, a few updates to that as well, which is always exciting. Again, this is kind of just a little quick recap from last week, so I'll just kind of leave this up for a second. As you may or may not know, there are cartridge or bulk systems for these units. So if you do need to, depending on volume generally, if you're a heavy-duty production shop, I would very strongly encourage the bulk system. Or if you're just, a little bit of a smaller, maybe medium-sized shop, there's nothing wrong with the cartridge system as well, and they'll both perform just as excellent. So again, a little bit more of the recap for the printhead technology. We are getting high quality with these solvent printers. 1440 DPI, you can see with the increased S6600, which is a dual printhead CMYK option. We can get up to 550 square feet an hour. So just incredible speed and versatility overall. So I think that's enough on that one. Let's jump into why we're really here today. Some of the use cases, some of the medias that are out there. So you guys might be familiar with some of the vinyl options. Of course, the car wraps. Banners is a huge thing, which I definitely love the banner production. You pretty much have a perfect product right off of the printer there. Maybe just a little bit of adding your grommets or the seams or whatever you need to do there. Also, decals, very popular here. We're getting a lot of requests for those lately. Combine one of these cutters with a print and cut solution like that Graph Tech, and that can create full high resolution, wide gamut decals that I can cut out immediately on my printer with a perforated cut, pop them out and have them ready to ship. So you're seeing these companies like Printful and Sticker Mule, so we can handle that fulfillment side if need be. Of course, like I said, banners, a very popular one here. If you're dealing with anything, both short-term and long-term, there's definitely some good options out there. They even have some, we'll dive a little bit deeper into this, where you can print on both sides. You don't have to worry about that bleeding through or anything of that nature. Of course, probably one of the more popular ones are car wraps. This is Skins Wraps, who's actually a company that we deal with here down in Dallas, who does fantastic work. They've wrapped everything from smart cars to high-end Ferraris, so and everything in between. Canvas, this is actually something that I think people don't really think about as much, to be fair. And this can do a very high-grade canvas, which can be extremely durable, and at that same token, you can get a lower print cost compared to maybe something like a P-series where you're doing like a gallery wrap or something of that nature. So let's start with the vinyl side of things, and this goes all the way from T-shirts to car wraps to decals. So HTV, for those of you who are not familiar, is a heat transfer vinyl. So what we can do here is we can print to that media, have our registration marks included, which will be done within the software that these printers will be bundled with. From there, all we need to do is cut that out. You may, depending on the complexity of your graphic, need some kind of basic easy backing that can kind of keep everything in place for you when you transfer it to the shirt, but you apply a little bit of heat, a little bit of pressure, and then you have that adhered to your fabric or apparel that you need. PSV, similar as far as the print goes, and this is just going to be pressure sensitive. So this one we just need to apply the right amount of pressure to have that adhere to the shirt. I do want to talk a little bit about cast and calendared vinyl as well. If you're new to these terms, the best way I can describe it is cast is going to be your high end. If you have something that needs to be very malleable, something that you need to wrap around curves pretty easily, cast is absolutely going to be the way to go. That being said, calendared has come a long way, and they do have some very good options for that. Your longevity, the durability is not quite as up to par as the cast. The plus side of that, though, is that your actual cost is going to be reduced, since the manufacturing process for this calendar does produce a little bit of a more cost-efficient media for us. You can see here, in the variations when it comes to variety of products, and especially the metallics, which can be an important thing for some car wrap shops. You can see we're going to get a lot more out of the cast vinyl there as well. So if you have some questions on that, you can call in and we can explain that a little bit more. And the cool thing about these that we're going to talk to today, especially the AVERY DENNISON products, are the matching laminate. So we don't really have to do any guess and check work. They've already combined a few different lamination types that can go with the media that we're printing onto. So pretty much right off the bat, we have a perfect combination of products that marry together to create an extremely durable, resistant print there. And that's kind of what I'm talking about here. So with the matching laminates, let's just say the MPI 1105, which is a really high quality cast vinyl for car wraps especially. Now what you can do is, depending on that final look, or depending on the material, or excuse me, I should say the substrate that's going to go onto, we'll either have a gloss, we have matte, we've got luster finishes, we've got ones that are a little bit more stretchable that you can wrap around certain things, and everything in between. So with these, what I would recommend is pairing this with some kind of lamination machine. Seal is definitely one we work with a lot. And what that's going to do is allow you to put that final layer over top of that print, and that's going to hold up. So you can see something like a boat was kind of the example I wanted to use here. You know, something that's going to be in water, something that's going to always have sunlight beaming down on it. You know, we're going to need something to really help that stand the test of time. And of course, we have those options here for you. Here's a seal laminator. This is just good old-fashioned 54-inch. This is a cold press, so no heat required. And the reason I bring that up is because I definitely recommend cold for most of the projects you'll be doing here. Hot can potentially cause a shift when we're heating up that media, when it comes to the print quality or it comes to the color accuracy there too. And cold overall is just going to be a more productive and better way to go for what we have here. So, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on lamination, but if you do have any questions on that one, definitely we can answer those at the end here. One thing I wanted to mention, and I'll go into this further as well, is the slip resistance. The reason I'm bringing this up is especially lately, I know everyone has been seeing the floor graphics, you know, maintain your 6 feet to that kind of nature. So the thing about that is, you know, without having some kind of coating on top of there, you know, if it gets wet or if anything like that, we do want to make sure that we're keeping our customers safe inside of the shop. So strongly recommended there as well to have some kind of slip resistant coating, and I'll show you some of those options as well. So back to AVERY Dennison, I want to focus on them first, and then we'll jump into a few of the other offerings here. So probably our most popular is the MPI 1105, a very high-end cast vinyl here. So what they have is what they call their easy apply. So this basically, to simplify everything, is that it makes it a little bit easier to add to these cars, conform into these, you know, larger curves, maybe a cup of where the door handle might be, something of that nature. So this is definitely a strong contender if you're doing the very high-end wraps. Clean removal, which can be super important, especially if we're dealing with maybe some of these customers who might have a high-end vehicle that every couple of years they want to kind of change out and kind of refresh. Clean removal is obviously very important for that. Or let's just say it's going for resale back into the lot or something like that afterwards. We want to make sure that we're not damaging the actual car and the paint itself, and this will make sure of that for sure. As you can see, we have the matching laminate here, and you get longevity of up to 7+ years. You know, completely on your terms, but I will say we do have car wrap shops that I know will guarantee their wraps just because of the longevity of a media like this. And of course, you know, throughout the lineup, your print, when it comes to your color accuracy, is going to match as well. And with these units, one thing that I really do love about what Epson did here is the combination with the Epson Edge dashboard. So basically right out of the bat, I can pop open my 1105 profile, put my media in there, and within 10 minutes, I can have a pretty darn accurate result. Now, if I'm dealing with some of these higher end companies, let's just say like a Coca-Cola or something like that, you know, I would always encourage you to, you know, rock those spot colors, get everything super accurate, so that way those higher end customers are going to be super happy with the job there. Probably one of the most common things we're seeing lately, here's the AVERY Dennison, and this is kind of what they call like a public safety signage. So if it's something that, you know, hey, stand back, or if you need to say something like, you know, wash your hands, those kind of basic things, this is kind of a good way to do that. What I really like about the AVERY, and I put this, the DOL 3100 matte, it's an anti-slip coating. So after we have that high quality print, we can apply that laminate over top of it, and we'll have that resistance. So if anything does happen where maybe a spill or something like that on the floor, we're not worried about anyone hurting themselves, slipping, or anything like that. Now, just because I think it's really cool, you know, maybe not practical for every application, but AVERY does have a really cool laminate that is anti-graffiti laminate as well. So if it's in an area where you're worried about anyone, you know, maybe messing with the media or, you know, just general vagrancy, that could be a great thing to add for you as well. Of course, the floor decals, we have wall film as well, which would be if you want to wrap a wall or maybe throw some signage up there, both removable and permanent as well. I do want to talk about some of the Epson offerings as well. A lot of people don't realize that Epson does have some pretty cool media options when it comes to these printers. One of my personal favorites is right here, is the display trans. It's a backlit media. If you're not familiar with backlit media, it's really, in my opinion, one of the coolest things out there, especially when it comes to signage that's really going to stand out. Basically, you can put a LED would be recommended behind it, some kind of light system, some kind of light box. And what you can see here is it's actually going to shine through that media. So a very popular and kind of a, I should say, a high-end display graphic. Canvas, like I said before, something that people don't really consider very often, but Epson has a pretty darn good canvas that, for longevity and durability, if you need to hang it outside of a hotel or maybe something of that nature, absolutely something that's viable. And of course, last but not least, there is a poster paper glossy that they have. People don't realize, again, that this is a little bit more versatile than just throwing some adhesive vinyl in there and calling it a day. There's some magnetic material, and we'll go into some more of that stuff later. But, if you are, let's just say you have a solvent machine, you've been doing adhesive vinyl, but you do get that request, hey, I just need 10 or 15 posters of this type, you don't have to turn down those jobs. I do want to make sure that everyone gets the most they can out of this system here. And of course, I do have to mention the Epson Rewards program. So, if you are dealing with genuine certified consumables from Epson, like their GS3 ink set or like some of their media offerings, you can basically accumulate points over time, which is really cool. So it's kind of one of those things that the more you print, the more you benefit from it. And over time, you can trade those in for percentages off a unit, maybe if you need an extended service plan or things of that nature. So it really does kind of benefit you if you, as your volume increases, so do your rewards. So I think that's a really cool program that Epson does offer. Let's jump into another company that we deal a lot with, and I do personally think that these guys have some really, really, really cool offerings, especially when it comes to some of their specialty medias, which we'll dive into here shortly. But ULTRAFLEX, I'd say probably really excels in the banner territory. They have, as you can see here, this is just a small offering of what they have, but just a ton when it comes to different, there's a 12 ounce, we've got 18 ounces, we've got blockout, we've got PET. So a lot of that stuff we're going to talk about here in a minute, but I just want to let you know kind of how many different options are there. When it comes to banners, it's not just, hey, one economy banner, fits all solutions. There's a lot of different options there. I do want to go back here real quick. With the wall murals, we have some pole banners, some flags. The Fabri-Tac and Sinetics I'm going to jump into a little bit further down the line. And window perf is probably one of the cooler ones that we've definitely done here that I really like. They're 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. Different when it comes to how much you can see through and how much that the outsider looking in can see as well. So let's start off with some of the banner production. Here I'm showing it's what they call the Bravura Display 250. These can be great for the pop-up. So if you have the, we can roll up those banners, something you can just kind of move to and fro, have set up quickly and easily, and get a very high resolution quality print out of it. They have a super smooth material, which is really a nice smooth face finish. I will say if you're going for the hyper accurate, super extreme clarity, I do love that super smooth. Blockout is going to be something in the middle. So let's just say you need to print on both sides. We don't want someone trying to view a message from one side to be distracted by maybe some of the bleed through from the other side. So with that blockout material, we basically have two strong surfaces we can print onto. The pole banner material is a popular one too. I think is a kind of a cool one. I know you see this in a lot of the parks and some of like the outdoor malls and things like that. So you can print directly onto it. Do what you need to do. Have your application. We may have some guy who just goes out on site, applies it, and then done and done. So just a few kind of things to show you guys here to get some things going, some ideas. I do like this particular material right here is probably one of my favorite, and this is what they call, it's a 15-ounce super smooth PET blockout. So I've got a really strong surface. I can print on both sides, and the clarity is just through the roof. It has what they call a low curl technology as well. So if I am just hanging this from the top, we're not going to have to worry about that curling up on the bottom as you might with some of the, something coming out of a roll like a P-series or something like that. And of course, finish options are up to you. For a lot of these, it probably is not completely necessary to have to laminate it, especially since it's going to be indoors. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind as well. You can see, it goes all the way from the small signage in stores to something massive like these buildings or billboards. So this is a super print. They have a matte or a gloss finish for these. They do have a material that has a mesh, so if there's any air kind of breathing, kind of going through there, it's not going to grab that media and pull it off. It gives it a little bit of room to breathe there. Let's talk about some of the specialty materials. Fabri-Tac's kind of a cool one. It's a removable adhesive. So basically the claim here is that it will leave no residue behind. So if it's something that I only need to put up maybe for trade show, the great example, a couple days, or if it's something that I'm going to be moving maybe a couple times within a week or something like that, can be a really cool media just to have something to kind of, just to kind of get everything flowing there. You can change this out weekly. You can move it to wherever you need to. Definitely just a unique option. The Synetics is another really cool offering that they have. Now, what I want to mention about the Synetics is I definitely have people who might try this media and say, well, hey, it's not a magnet that I can throw in my fridge. And really what this is it's a magnet receptive media. So what that means is basically our print on here, after that, it can accept a magnetic material on top of that. And if you have some curiosities about the magnetic printing, we can talk about that as well. Magnum's a great option out there. But this is really cool. Kind of the example we have here is, let's just say we're in like a restaurant and we have like our main menu in the back that, who knows, it might change. Maybe we're kind of like a specialty shop and every now and again we have some new offerings. We can keep that background, print right onto a magnet, slap it up there, and we can kind of continue going. Or if you're maybe like some of those hip restaurants, you can add some decals or maybe something like that up there just to kind of spice things up a bit. You can see here, extremely easy to clean. You can wipe it right down. Exceptional durability, of course. So, I wouldn't say, take a blade to it or anything like that, but for your daily offerings, it should be more than fine. These are kind of cool options too. There's more of their specialty materials. So something that's kind of newer out there is the ULTRAFLEX here. So they've got a leather and a suede. This is the leather here. So still would require some kind of seamstress to kind of come in and sew everything together, but a really cool option that kind of, especially if you're dealing with like upholstery or something of that nature. I think that's just kind of just something interesting and unique. Of course, probably one of the cool applications here are the wallscapes. So if you want something where you're wrapping a room or you're wrapping one particular wall, that can be a very cool offering. And as you can see, it definitely, I think it really has a strong impact for anyone who kind of comes in. Window perf media as well. I know a lot of people like this, especially when we're dealing with some of the wraps or vehicle wraps. If you want to kind of cover that window, but you still want to keep the safety for the driver intact. And the 60/40, 70/30, 80/20. Basically, what that is telling us is how much that we can see through versus. So if you go through both sides, you might have a media 60/40 we have here where I can moderately see through it, but from the other side, it's a complete transparent. So really cool offerings on that one. Of course, I'm going to show you some window perf here. So as you can see from this side, you can't really see in, but from the other side, you can absolutely see out of it with no problem. So again, if I'm in a shop or especially a vehicle, it definitely keeps the high quality of the print going, but also the safety of the driver. And I do want to talk about the ULTRAFLEX. This is actually a new offering from them. This is what they call their AdventureScapes. So the cool thing about this one is it's antimicrobial, and it has that anti-slip that we were talking about, embossment basically built into the media. So directly right off the bat, no lamination required. You can slap this on the ground and still have the safety factors that you would get with the lamination as well. So I think this is a really cool one to mention, just especially with the way everything's going lately. And I think there's a lot of opportunity here for the floor graphics. So on that note, talking about the media there, I want to kind of bring this back into kind of what Epson has to offer for those types. So for those of you who are new to this, Epson Edge Dashboard is bundled, basically, it's with the driver. So what this is going to allow us to do is download these EMX profiles. And I know I briefly talked about this on last week's, but now hopefully with the media types, this will make a little bit more sense. So from here, you can see what media type I have loaded, the width of that media type, ton of offerings here. So, I mean, you can see right off the bat, here's some AVERYs that are automatically, day one, we can download these profiles, have them sent right to the printer, and be good to go. ULTRAFLEX has some plenty of offerings too. And, if you start dealing with other 3M, ton of the major players out there, we've got a lot of profiles built in thanks to Epson. The reason I bring this up is because it's an EMX profile as well. And so what that is telling us is it's more than color information. What we're going to get is we're going to see platen gap adjustments. We're going to see our heaters elements adjust temperature, tension, tons of things that all kind of together work in tandem to create an easy but still high quality print that we can get going. The Onyx software, I'm just going to touch on this briefly. The Onyx software is going to come bundled with these machines here. So whether it's the entry level S series, which the 4600 will come with something like Gamma Print, or as you can upgrade their offerings, or if you jump into something higher end, like maybe a print and cut bundle for an S80, they'll actually upgrade you to an edition called Thrive. Now, Thrive is their top tier edition. It gives us this job editor that you see on the right side. So I'll tell you, with playing with the software, especially when it comes to hypercritical color management, it is nice to have these options. Of course, we can always throw a spectrophotometer on there and create our own profiles if need be. And I want to just kind of throw there that the cut server is built into here. So if you already do have a cutter, you can already apply that to the machine. You add the S series to it, and you can attach your cutter right directly with that. And Onyx, what it's going to do is actually put in our registration marks and get everything prepped for us so that when we do go to the printer, we're good to go. And last but not least, with all this that we're talking about, we can build in our own media types and profiles. So that way we can have all of our accounting tools right at our fingertips. And this is an LSP accounting tool that comes with Epson, free, that we can download. If we want to take it a step further, we can upgrade Onyx to what they call Onyx Hub 2.0. And that'll give us some very detailed information when it comes to media usage, ink usage, and the like as well. So last but not least, I think I want to open it up here, guys. I know I was just kind of throwing a lot of different things out there, but really that's what I wanted to do with this webinar, is just get some ideas flowing. So if there's anything that you guys have questions about, or if it comes to something like, is this media compatible with it, definitely let us know. We're more than happy to help you out there. So with that being said, I'm going to open up to some questions here. So if there's anything you guys have questions on, throw it in the chat box, and we'll answer those real time. All right, well, I'm not seeing much here, so hopefully this was at least kind of eye-opening for a few of you guys out there. Like I said, really, there's a plethora of offerings. I mean, couldn't even count them all, but this is just to kind of get that ball rolling, say, hey, maybe I was focused on, car wraps, but I never thought about doing canvas, or vice versa. Maybe you've been doing some canvas with it, and now it's like, wow, I didn't realize I could do magnets, or I didn't realize I could do even some of like the suede, or even some of that leather that we were seeing. So.
Of course, you can ask about any kind of Epson in printers as well while I'm on here. I'm happy
Absolutely.
to do that.
Yeah, guys. I mean, like I said, Keith's the man. So if you want to really do some deep dive, and we've definitely got the resources here for you today. Of course, if it's one of those things where you do want to talk one-on-one, we're more than happy to do that. We've got plenty of resources there as well. So if you need to talk offline, you can always reach us at this number here, or visit us online. If you want to, you can also email inkjet@imagingspectrum.com, and we'll have more information there. And hopefully, guys, we try to do these as frequently as possible. I think next week we'll have a brief hiatus, but then we'll get back into it the week after. So if you guys want to see any of the previous videos that we have come up with, definitely visit us at imagingspectrum.com/training. And there'll be a lot of different offerings, from the P series to dye sublimation to, of course, the S series like here today. So. Well, guys, I guess with that being said, I'm not seeing anything coming through here, so I do appreciate your attendance as always, and definitely stick with us. We have a lot more coming up, and I do encourage, if there's ever anything that you guys would like to really talk about or hear discussed, I'm open to any ideas, so send those our way as well.
All right, appreciate it, Zach. Yeah,
right,
good job.
Thanks, everybody.
Job on that, and yeah, just call us. I mean, we're open for demos, and we can show a lot about these printers and talk about different media choices out there that kind of fit your business. So that's what we're here for. So hopefully, if you've got any questions, just let us know.
Excellent. And Keith, thanks so much for joining us again, man. Hopefully we'll have, I know we're going to probably have you on here in the future with a few things, so definitely look forward to that.
Yep. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and close it off on that one,
thanks,
and then
man.
we'll see you guys next time.
Take care, everyone.
All right, see you. Bye.